Registration under the Indian Act plays a central role in the recognition of First Nations people under Canadian law.
But Auditor General Karen Hogan says the federal government is not living up to its end of the bargain. A report released at a press conference in Ottawa on Tuesday finds 80% of status applications took Indigenous Services Canada more than the 6-month standard to process. There's a backlog of more than 12,000 applications. And for First Nations who assist in the processing of applications, the funding formula has not been updated in 3 decades. The report finds there was an increase in status applications of about 58,000 between 2019 and 2024 due to amendments to the Indian Act, but it finds funding to ISC to process these applications has also increased. Either way, Hogan says there is no excuse for such long delays and backlog in processing.
Taking 16 months to make a decision is a long time for someone to be waiting to find out if they can access benefits that they have the right to under Canadian law. And I think many would ask themselves, if the Canadian Public Service can process an important document like a passport in a timely way, why can't they make a decision under the Registration Act in a timelier way?
Equally alarming is the lack of government resources invested in First Nations that are assisting ISC in processing applications. Almost 30% of First Nations with a community-based registration administrator receive only the minimum of $5,000 per year.
But part of reconciliation is to transition all of that to the communities, and without proper funding and then the ability to be proper trained, First Nations communities aren't going to be well equipped to take this on. So I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done there, not just about increasing the funding to these partners, but to also make sure that training and capacity is created before things are transitioned.